Biological age has become one of the most fascinating frontiers in modern science. Unlike chronological age, which simply counts the years you've lived, biological age reflects the true condition of your cells, tissues, and systems. Scientists now know that lifestyle choices can accelerate or decelerate this internal clock in ways that were once thought impossible. This raises a powerful question. Can something as simple as walking reshape how quickly or slowly we age? To understand this, researchers began studying biomarkers such as telomere length, epigenetic methylation patterns, mitochondrial function, and systemic inflammation. These markers reveal how well your body is performing beneath the surface, often telling a vastly different story than your calendar age. Some individuals in their 50s show biological profiles of a 30-year-old, while others age much faster due to stress, poor sleep, and inactivity. The remarkable part is that these markers are not fixed. Over the past decade, groundbreaking studies have shown that daily habits can meaningfully alter biological aging. Sleep quality, diet, stress levels, and especially physical movement all play a central role in maintaining or repairing cellular health. This is where the idea of using something accessible like walking begins to stand out. So the question becomes, what actually happens to this biological clock when we commit to a consistent movement pattern for 30 days? What changes at the cellular and systemic level when the body transitions from sedentary to active? That's the journey we'll explore, and the answers might be far more encouraging than you expect. Before we go deeper, tell me in the comments, do you think your biological age is younger or older than your chronological age, and why? Modern life has quietly pushed us into a paradox, more convenience, yet more inactivity than any generation before. Sitting for prolonged hours affects the body in ways most people never truly feel until problems accumulate. Reduced circulation, metabolic slowdown, and increased inflammatory markers begin to rise silently, altering biological age years before symptoms appear. Scientists refer to this as sedentary physiology. In this state, muscles become less responsive to insulin, the cardiovascular system becomes less efficient, and cellular repair mechanisms weaken. Over time, this environment encourages oxidative stress, creating conditions where cells age faster than they should. The body isn't designed for stillness. When movement disappears, decline begins subtly. An overlooked consequence is the psychological effect. Lack of motion disrupts neurotransmitter balance, influencing mood, motivation, and even cognitive performance. When the brain doesn't receive enough movement-driven stimulation, the aging process accelerates both mentally and physically. In other words, being sedentary doesn't just affect muscles, it affects identity, purpose, and energy. This is why introducing a simple but consistent movement pattern like walking can act as a counterforce. Without requiring equipment or extreme effort, walking starts reversing several mechanisms of sedentary aging. And when done daily for 30 days, the cumulative effect can be surprisingly profound. The idea of 10,000 steps didn't start as a scientific mandate. It originated in 1965 in Japan as part of a pedometer marketing campaign. Yet decades later, research has validated that this number sits close to a threshold where meaningful physiological improvements begin to compound. Not because 10,000 is mystical, but because it creates consistent, moderate-intensity movement throughout the day. Studies show that individuals who reach this daily step range tend to have lower resting heart rates, improved insulin sensitivity, and better lipid profiles. More importantly, 10,000 steps represent a behavioral milestone. It pushes most people out of sedentary patterns without demanding extreme athletic commitment. It's accessible, measurable, and psychologically rewarding. Another reason 10,000 works so well is the distribution of movement. Instead of one isolated workout, steps spread activity across the entire day. This stabilizes blood sugar, enhances circulation, and reduces inflammatory spikes. Movement frequency, rather than intensity alone, plays a major role in preserving youthfulness at the cellular level. So, while the number may have commercial origins, the impact is very real. Over 30 days, these repeated microbursts of activity can initiate cellular and metabolic changes that directly influence biological age. And as we go deeper, you'll see how each system in the body begins to shift. The metabolic shifts that occur during a 30-day walking routine are far more significant than most people realize. Walking increases energy expenditure gently but consistently, nudging the body to use glucose more efficiently. As muscles begin consuming more sugar from the bloodstream, insulin becomes more effective, lowering metabolic stress and slowing age-accelerating processes. Another key transformation involves fat oxidation. Daily walking activates enzymes responsible for breaking down stored fat, especially visceral fat, the type that increases inflammatory signals and accelerates biological aging. Even without drastic dietary changes, this metabolic adjustment can lead to measurable internal improvements. It's not about burning calories, it's about restoring metabolic balance. Your mitochondria, the tiny engines inside your cells, also begin to adapt. Regular walking encourages mitochondrial biogenesis, meaning new mitochondria are created to meet rising energy demands. More mitochondria translate to better endurance, better metabolic flexibility, and slower cellular aging. This adaptation is one of the most powerful predictors of longevity. Over 30 days, these adjustments accumulate like compound interest. You start with small changes in glucose handling, but end with a system that runs more efficiently overall. And efficiency, in metabolic terms, often correlates with a biologically younger profile. Hormones silently orchestrate nearly every function related to aging, and walking influences them in surprisingly meaningful ways. As your daily steps increase, the body releases endorphins and serotonin, improving mood and reducing stress. This matters because chronic stress hormones, especially cortisol, accelerate biological aging by impairing immune function and promoting inflammation. Daily walking also improves the sensitivity of hormone receptors. Insulin works more effectively, thyroid hormones regulate metabolism more smoothly, and growth hormone secretion improves during sleep. When these systems operate harmoniously, the body shifts into a more regenerative state rather than a degenerative one, helping preserve cellular vitality. Another overlooked effect is the reduction of systemic inflammation. Regular movement lowers circulating cytokines, the inflammatory molecules that accelerate cellular damage. With inflammation reduced, hormonal communication becomes clearer and tissues respond better to repair signals. This creates an internal environment more aligned with youthfulness. These changes don't require extreme workouts, just daily consistency. Over 30 days, walking helps recalibrate hormonal rhythms, creating a biochemical landscape that supports a younger biological age. And as we progress in this journey, you'll see how deeply these hormonal shifts influence everything from energy to emotional well-being. When you begin walking consistently, something remarkable happens beneath the surface. Your cells start operating in a more efficient, organized way. This shift is largely driven by improved nutrient delivery. As blood flow increases with daily movement, oxygen and essential molecules reach tissues more effectively. This enhanced circulation allows cells to repair damage more rapidly, reducing the accumulation of biological wear and tear. Another important change involves oxidative stress. Walking increases the production of antioxidant enzymes, which neutralize free radicals that accelerate aging. These enzymes act like internal guardians, protecting DNA, proteins, and cell membranes from damage. Over time, this creates a more stable internal environment, one where aging processes slow down naturally. Cellular communication also improves. When muscles contract repeatedly during walking, they release myokines, signaling molecules that help regulate metabolism, inflammation, and growth. These molecules travel through the bloodstream, influencing organs far beyond the muscles themselves.
Scientists now consider myokines one of the hidden keys to understanding how physical activity promotes longevity.
All these cellular adjustments might feel subtle day by day, but over 30 days, they form a powerful biological shift. The cells begin functioning less like those of someone aging rapidly and more like those of a person who is maintaining youth at the microscopic level. Mitochondria play a central role in the story of aging. These microscopic structures produce the energy that fuels every cell, and their efficiency often declines with age. Walking challenges the mitochondria just enough to stimulate adaptation. Over time, the body increases both the number and performance of these energy producers, a process linked directly to longevity. Research shows that mitochondrial biogenesis improves endurance, energy levels, and overall cellular resilience. This means your cells become better equipped to handle stress, resist damage, and recover more quickly. People who walk regularly often report higher daily energy, not because they're resting more, but because their mitochondria are functioning at a higher capacity. Movement also reduces mitochondrial dysfunction, one of the strongest predictors of age-related decline. When mitochondria struggle, cells accumulate damage more quickly, and biological age rises. Walking counteracts this decline by enhancing mitochondrial quality control, a natural housekeeping mechanism that removes dysfunctional mitochondria and replaces them with healthier ones. Over a 30-day period, these mitochondrial changes can be profound. The gradual rise in energy efficiency doesn't just influence how you feel, it influences how your body ages. Strong mitochondria are one of the clearest indicators of a biologically younger system. Chronic inflammation is considered one of the main drivers of accelerated aging. It affects every system of the body, increasing the risk of disease and impairing cellular function. Walking, however, is one of the simplest ways to calm this internal fire. Even moderate movement prompts muscles to release anti-inflammatory cytokines, which help balance the immune response and reduce systemic inflammation. Researchers have found that just 30 minutes of walking can lower certain inflammatory markers, such as interleukin-6, for hours afterward. When repeated daily, this effect becomes cumulative. Reduced inflammation means less strain on cells, less tissue damage, and improved function across major organs. The body becomes biologically younger, not through extreme effort, but through consistent, gentle motion. Another key discovery involves the gut. Regular walking helps regulate gut motility and microbiome composition. A healthier microbiome produces more short-chain fatty acids, compounds known to reduce inflammation and strengthen the immune system. This connection between movement and microbial balance has become one of the most exciting areas in aging research. Over 30 days, these anti-inflammatory effects begin shaping your biological age in measurable ways. Less inflammation means better recovery, more efficient cellular function, and lower stress on metabolic and cardiovascular systems. It's one of the clearest examples of how movement influences longevity. Consistent walking has a direct and measurable impact on cardiovascular health. As you accumulate steps each day, your heart becomes more efficient at pumping blood, and your arteries become more flexible. These changes contribute to a lower resting heart rate, a sign that the cardiovascular system is working with less strain. Even after 30 days, many people notice improvements in endurance and overall physical comfort. Blood pressure is another factor that responds quickly to walking. Studies show reductions in both systolic and diastolic values after a month of regular daily movement. Lower blood pressure means reduced stress on arterial walls, decreased risk of plaque buildup, and improved overall circulation. These changes contribute to a cardiovascular profile associated with a younger biological age. Cholesterol and lipid markers also shift. Daily walking increases HDL, the protective cholesterol, while helping reduce LDL and triglycerides. These improvements, detected through standard blood tests, reflect deeper changes occurring in the vascular system. Better lipid balance translates into better arterial health and improved long-term resilience. The heart responds to consistent movement with remarkable adaptability. Even without intense workouts, a month of daily walking begins restructuring cardiovascular function in a way that supports longevity. These cardiac transformations form a key part of why biological age can shift downward with a simple habit like walking. Walking has a profound effect on the brain, both structurally and chemically. Each step increases blood flow to regions responsible for memory and learning, creating an environment where new neurons can thrive. This process, known as neurogenesis, plays a significant role in maintaining cognitive youth. Even in adults, consistent walking can stimulate growth in the hippocampus, a region that normally shrinks with age. Movement also enhances neurotransmitter balance. Serotonin, dopamine, and endorphins become more stable and more abundant, improving mood, motivation, and emotional resilience. These chemical shifts help counter anxiety and depression, which are known accelerators of cognitive aging. Many people report clearer thinking and improved mental energy within just a few weeks of daily walking. Another impact involves stress regulation. Walking lowers cortisol levels, reducing the stress load on both the brain and the rest of the body. Chronic cortisol elevation is linked to memory decline, impaired decision-making, and premature aging. By stabilizing this hormone, walking supports mental clarity and long-term cognitive health. Over 30 days, these neurological benefits accumulate. Your brain begins functioning not just more efficiently, but in a way that aligns with a younger biological profile. It's one of the reasons walking is often recommended not only for physical health, but also as a foundational habit for mental longevity. By the time you complete 30 consecutive days of walking 10,000 steps, your body has accumulated thousands of small physiological improvements that begin reflecting in measurable biomarkers. Research on lifestyle interventions consistently shows reductions in biological age ranging from several months to, in some cases, multiple years, depending on baseline health and consistency. These changes stem from lowered inflammation, improved metabolic function, and enhanced cellular repair. Epigenetic markers, especially DNA methylation patterns, are among the strongest indicators of biological age. Scientists have observed that increased physical activity can shift these patterns toward a younger profile, reflecting healthier gene expression. Though walking is a moderate exercise, the cumulative effect over 30 days is enough to influence these markers in a positive direction. Cardiovascular and metabolic markers also contribute to this biological shift. Improvements in blood pressure, cholesterol balance, insulin sensitivity, and mitochondrial function all converge to create a younger-looking internal profile. Even if you don't feel dramatically different each day, your organs, cells, and tissues are gradually adapting to a more optimal state. These improvements are not just theoretical, they are quantifiable. Many people who track biological age through validated tests report meaningful reductions after adopting daily walking habits. 30 days is just the beginning, but it's often enough to demonstrate that aging is dynamic and responsive to the choices we make. If 30 days initiate impressive internal changes, 3 months amplify them significantly. Over 90 days, circulation becomes more efficient, enabling long-term improvements in oxygen delivery and nutrient transport. This steady enhancement supports tissue integrity and delays the onset of age-related decline. What begins as adaptation becomes transformation as the body recognizes walking as part of its daily operating system. Metabolic health continues improving as well. Long-term walking further strengthens insulin sensitivity and helps regulate appetite hormones, contributing to more stable energy and weight control. These changes reduce metabolic strain, lowering biological age even further. The body becomes better at maintaining homeostasis, one of the key pillars of longevity. Cognitive benefits deepen too. Over 3 months, consistent walking enhances neuroplasticity, strengthening communication between brain regions involved in learning, memory, and emotional balance. This neurological resilience is strongly associated with slower cognitive aging and lower risk of neurodegenerative diseases. Walking becomes a daily investment in mental youthfulness. Physiologically, 3 months mark the transition from short-term adaptation to enduring biological remodeling. Systems that were once strained begin functioning with renewed efficiency. And while each person's timeline differs, the general trajectory is the same. Continued steps lead to continued rejuvenation.
If this video is bringing you value so far, consider leaving a super thanks to help support content based on real science and longevity research. Your gesture makes a huge difference. Supplements often promise rapid or dramatic anti-aging effects, yet science continues to show that movement, simple daily movement, produces far more reliable results. Walking activates dozens of biological pathways simultaneously, something no pill can replicate. It engages cardiovascular, metabolic, neurological, and hormonal systems in a coordinated way, promoting genuine, system-wide rejuvenation. Another advantage is sustainability. While supplements can become a temporary habit, walking integrates into daily life with minimal effort. This consistency is what allows it to influence long-term health trajectories. Walking is not a quick fix. It is a foundational behavior that continuously reinforces youth-promoting mechanisms within the body. Walking also empowers the individual. When you move, you actively participate in shaping your own aging process. This sense of control reduces stress, boosts confidence, and helps create a healthier relationship with your body. Aging becomes less about decline and more about maintenance, resilience, and adaptation. When viewed through the lens of modern longevity science, walking emerges as one of the most accessible and effective tools for biological youth. It requires no subscription, no equipment, and no secret formula. Only the commitment to put one foot in front of the other. And for many people, that simple act becomes a lifelong strategy for staying younger, longer. If this journey helped you understand how something as simple as walking can reshape your biological age, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who could benefit from it. Your support helps bring more science-based content to everyone.